right, let's see. Glad tidings and greetings to all the beloved across the world. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mësët to all. Um, I had a little difficulty because this is the first time that I did like planned it, like put it out to give everyone a notice ahead of a day ahead of me doing it. So there's a lot of people that are waiting in the notice of the other one, but I cannot access it because I didn't do it through StreamYard. I did it through YouTube. So I kind of messed up there, but it's a learning experience. I'm learning as I go with this stuff. And actually, um, it probably, in the big scope of things, it probably won't be that much longer as far as utilizing the parasitic system, uh, because what the Great Spirit has placed upon my heart, I've already saw what is getting ready to happen. But like I always tell you, time is of no concern at all. Time is not a factor to us, only life. So people ask me like, well, when do you think you're gonna do this? When you think you're gonna do that? Um, I can't give you an exact time. You know, um, like with my book, for instance. Due to a series of events, mainly revolving around what happened with my wife. um the 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 copy of the book, that it was pretty much, I've thought it was done um numerous different occasions, but I always end up, the Great Spirit puts it upon my heart to add something else to it. And with the situation with my wife, we had to abruptly move. Like, it all happened so fast. I had to leave so much behind at our old house. I'm just grateful that the Great Spirit has provided and surrounded myself and my family with um, you know good people. And I do have the my book and certain sacred items that are being stored. The problem is the people that are doing it, they don't know what is what. And they have a lot going on in their life, so I can't expect, they've already went out of their way to get everything. I can't expect them to take, you know, uh, days off of their life to go through bags and bags and bags and boxes and try to find the book. So basically, I have to I have to fly to Kansas City myself and look through everything to find the it's not the final edit, but it's ready for the final edit, and then it'll be ready for production. Okay. You you all give me one moment. Let me grab some coconut water and we will get right into it. If you want to share this on your Facebook page or wherever, whatever platforms you are, greetings to all. Sister Monica, I finally have someone in here that has a wrench on them. I've given numerous people wrenches as moderators. Um, I know there's some that did reach out to I about that. If I didn't get to you, it's not that I like turned you down or anything. It just means I just didn't get to it, or it was just actually, to be honest, I might have just forgot, to just be plain and honest. But moderators, Monica, I really don't. I know I don't have to tell you. You said it's not showing up on YouTube. Let me see. It's on YouTube. It's just not on the video that says upcoming. I wasn't able to utilize that because I did it wrong. So everyone that was waiting in the chat in the actual one that said 7:55 p.m. or whatever time it in this case, I have to use the word time, but whatever number of timekeeping system they have in your area, it would have it on there. I learned a lesson. I learned how to the next teaching, if I'm going to utilize that, how to do it properly. I didn't do it properly. That's my fault. It's a learning experience. Give me one moment. Let's see if you can I check this out before I go get this. Right here is a original papyrus. You want to see what a papyrus looks like? This is original papyrus right here. I'm going to start showing you guys artifacts and things. There's a lot of people on YouTube that show you artifacts or books. Some show artifacts. Mainly people show books of old things. I haven't seen anyone on YouTube that will show you anything older than the collection that I've had. And I'm not boasting. I'm just telling you guys factually. This is what papyrus looks like. Ancient papyrus. Right here. This is ancient original papyrus. You can hear it. All right, I can't say too much on this. Now, if you Google this, it's going to tell you it's about 250 years old. Between 150, 250 years old. All I can tell you is this one isn't. So just a little something to show you guys. And as you can see, right here on top of Tahuti's head, Thoth, what is that right there? That is the moon map. That right there is the moon showing the exact map of the whole solar system that is on one body called Tiamata that the ancient Egyptians knew. So everything I teach you guys is not some, whim of the moment. Even right now, and I mean, it's no secret, so I might as well, I'll just come out and say it. Jason of Archaics, Jason Brashears of Archaics is, from what I've seen, I can't go off what anyone else has said or told me. I can only go off what I have heard myself. He's saying that like the Zodiac is like new and it's like all new, and it's like a psyop that was made by the Greeks and this and that. That could not be further than that. Actually makes almost half of his data questionable. He's actually shooting himself in the foot if by teaching that. And I don't know if he knows that, because there's actual land formations that are so huge that go back to Archaeologists have dated it to 2500 BC, but it goes back much further than that, where there's whole land masses that are made based upon the lights above, the constellations above. So for someone to say the Zodiac is only 2,000 years old, especially someone in Jason's shoes, I don't know why he would do that, because that pretty much that puts in that makes almost all his material that's based upon 2,000 years and prior questionable. That means that whole archaic timeline, 138 years going back to 5,000, 6,000 BC or whatever, that makes that whole thing questionable, because the same people that they are referring to also it wasn't called the Zodiac. The whole story of Enki, Enlil, Anu, and all that, what do you think that is? That is the story of the zodiacal signs. And I'm going to have a guest on here, Great Spirit willing. Yes, he is a Freemason. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. No, I am not. I've been asked to come to many lodges. I've even been offered a position as a 33-degree Freemason instantly. I've had what they call a worshipful. Actually, 3 of them. I believe they followed me to a coffee shop, and they were older gentlemen, and they sat down. They sparked an organic conversation with me, and one of them said, aren't you so-and-so? And they said my name. We began, dialogue. Things got a little awkward. And then basically by the end of the conversation, I was offered a position as a 33-degree worshipful master Freemason if I would come and begin teaching at their lodges. So 33-degree Freemasons are asking me to come teach them and their master masons and Shriners in their lodges. Okay, which I would never do. So any of you that are on here watching now, or are watching this on a rewatch, no offense to you, but I that's not me. You've got the wrong soul for that. All right. And I have no hatred towards you or any living soul, any eternal soul, but I hope you find the way. That's all I'm going to say about that. But Great Spirit willing, I may have Micah Dank come on. Only if me and Micah have not had we've contacted each other, but I have not had a real conversation with him on the phone, only text. So he wanted to come on and do his and Micah might pop up today in the chat, tonight in the chat, and Micah, I'm not speaking down on you, my friend. I'm just speaking my heart. If Micah is now, I know his older teachings, and he wanted to come on and kind of do his presentation that he's been doing, but really, unless he's gotten to the level with the Sumerian tablets, there really is not that much of a reason for him to come on, because I really would like someone to come on that we can bounce off each other to show that the Sumerian tablets is astral theology. Okay. All right. Now, am I saying that the things with Enki and Enlil and these archetypes aren't actual beings, and the Anunnaki are not actual beings? No, I'm not saying that. It's the same way as the things in the Bible and all that. when it was rewritten by Arius Piso into the sun cycle. All right. Arius Piso is Josephus Flavius. He was commissioned by the Titus dynasty to rewrite the entire New Testament and to make Emmanuel into the sun. And so they could continue their sun worship and call it Christianity. And the Council of Nicaea was not about anything to do with the Bible. It was about what name they were going to use. Were they going to use Isis or were they going to use Mithras? Okay. Now you may have been told it's Isus, but it's not. It's pronounced Isis due to the laws of grammar as far as in Greek. By the laws of grammar, that is pronounced Isis, Iesus. It's not Isus like Jesus. They're trying to make it sound like it's really Isis. All right, representing the feminine energy. Okay, and we're going to get into that this evening. Give me one moment. Let me grab my coconut water. But yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys some artifacts moving forward, just because I've been given the nod by the elders that it's okay to do. Now one in particular is going to blow all your mind, but I haven't got the okay for this one yet. But I'm speculating that I'll be able to show it to you guys soon, because all of this is about to go down anyway. But this is how we have most of them right here. I can't see it, but in the frame, I have multiple papyruses. I just wanted to bring this one down. It's not framed yet, so you can see how papyrus looks if you've never seen it up close. It's fragile because it's so old, but it's not as fragile as you would think. A little stained up, but I mean, to be hundreds and hundreds of years old, pretty good shape, I think. All right. I was rushing to get on here. I know a lot of you guys were waiting in the other one. And as again, for anyone just coming in, that's my fault. It's a learning experience. Now I know. Get some of that H3O2. Some of that too, right there. I'm to the point where all I really do is drink juice, and I have a little bit of bread here and there. Sometimes seeds. I like pumpkin seeds are good. I like cashews as well. I do get the honey roasted ones, but coming back to the East Coast, it's been a little difficult. When I was in Kansas City, it was so easy to keep my diet because their food sucks out there. And I'm sorry if you're from out that way. I'm just that's my opinion. Might not be the opinion of everyone, but the food out in Kansas City is horrible. The choices, and they're known for Kansas City barbecue, and even their barbecue is not good. And that's like the only choice you got. Everywhere you go, it's just barbecue, 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 barbecue. Like, how much barbecue can you eat? It's crazy. It's like they'll barbecue a pillow and just slap it with seasoning and barbecue sauce, and they'll eat it. All right, so comment. It says, Jason, as I understand it, saying the Zodiac from the Greeks is just the version they used to bring forward to the present. The original form was given to Enoch, the Mazzaroth. But the thing is, and the same thing with the Arabics. So the Arabians didn't use. They knew the sun zodiac, but what people call the Arabs or Arabs or Arabians at that time, they also had a zodiac, but it was the moon. They went off the moon base, and it was all based off of names. It wasn't about how we, like pictures. The Arabian zodiac is moon based, and it's based off of names, and it's all connected by words. So to say that the zodiac is a construct. Now, what I will say, what the Greeks did do, along with the Romans, they have us going off of the age of Aries. They never switched everything over from the age when the transition came, because the way the ages come is it's not just a year. They don't just pick a year and now it's if you Google it, it'll say every 2,160 years this happens. Actually, it's closer to it's 2,162 years approximately, give or take. If you want to do it by time, but it's not an exact science, and that's why neither is the 138-year cycle. You cannot. There's no possible way for you to determine an 138-year cycle precisely, because they have changed the calendar so much. You would have to remember every incarnation that you've had, and that would have to be your entire, not just this life's mission. It would have to be carried throughout. Now, am I saying that that's impossible? No, not by any means. It could, and quite possibly is why Jason is here to bring that to the light, because we are at the end, the closing out of the energy. When you're closing out the aeon, okay, that's what the Greek word used when Christ said the end of the world. It was the aeon, meaning age, the zodiacal age. Okay, all right. So apparently, even Christ knew about it. So if he knew about it, and whether there was no, you can see, whether you believe there was no, like we know there was no man named Jesus over there. Jesus was over here in Morinca, or not even in Turtle Island. It would have to be a Morinca or the Caribbean. All right. So we know that no matter who wrote the scriptures, right? They would have to know, like the comment said, the Mazzaroth. Okay. So the Mazzaroth goes back to Job, the book of Job, which is the oldest book in the Bible. So for one to say that it didn't exist and this and that, then you would basically, you're saying, I believe in all these books that were written by numerous authors that I'm doing all my research on and basing it all on, but the Bible is just not reliable. No reliable information in it at all. It's pretty much you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But you believe all these other people. You don't think there were 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 other Zechariah Sitchins that didn't have information correct? You think it was just only one Zechariah Sitchin that was off? Okay, that's just one particular aspect that he had the 60 base timekeeping system off. Okay, Zechariah Sitchin, and it was purposeful. It wasn't an accident. All right. Anybody that has the eye to see can see that this man was a gatekeeper. They all went to the same university. It was Cambridge, I believe, right? It's all Cambridge University. All the gatekeepers, the main gatekeepers when it comes to historical information, all go through Cambridge. I'm pretty sure that's the university. Correct me if I'm mistaken. But listen, we are in a realm that there is no prophecy. It's all cycles. All right. You're not mental mind. You're not your mind. All is mind, meaning this basically is you don't know the power of your own mind. That's why if two or more come into an agreement, you can move a mountain. Well, guess what? The evil ones can move mountains. They're doing it as we speak. They move it with TNT. They move it with heavy equipment. How do they do that? Two or more people came into agreement, used their minds, their mental, and created, manifested things with their hands, technology. All right, and they can now move mountains. But that's not what the Christ energy is referring to, because see, that's now you're using AI, basically AI, all right, artificial intelligence, which is heavy machinery is artificial intelligence. It just happens that it needs an orchestrator. That's all. All right, it needs something to bear the light because it has light in it, because it has electricity. That's Elyon, the Most High. All right, Lucifer, this, that, the other, whatever you want to call it. It's all the light bearer. That's electricity, the Father. All right, the spark, the lightning, Zeus with the lightning bolt, Thor, this one, that one. All right, but the mother, Ma, is magnetism, which vibrates higher. It's invisible. You can see electricity. You cannot see magnetism. When the two magnets go together, you did not see anything in between them. If you take a positive and a negative jumper cables and put them together, you're going to see it. It's going to spark. All right. You take positive and negative magnets together and they go together, you're not going to see a spark or anything. All right. That's the Ma, or the magnetism. All right. Now, let's see where we left off. So, where we left off at on part 2 was basically, I remember speaking about the only begotten son, and the Greek word for only begotten son was monogenes, or monogenes, like monogamous. That's how you pronounce it? Monogamous when you're not engaging in sexual activity. Well, the Greek word for only begotten is monogenes, or monogenes. All right. And basically it just means single of its kind, one of a kind. And that's you, beloved. There's no other you. You're one of a kind. Even, and someone could make an argument and try to say, oh, what about twins? I know plenty of twins, and both of them are completely different. All right. They even have now the technology to tell the difference between their DNA through saliva. All right. And the reason being is because the mitochondria. The mitochondria is different. The regular helix, double helix is the code is the same structure. Okay. The ribosomes and all that. But the mitochondria is the real the one that tells more. It goes back further. They've even gone as far as to find out that we're all connected to one woman. Basically, we all go back to one ancestor 500,000 years, approximately 500,000 years ago, which is common sense. I thought of that as a child, and I'm not talking about the world was all started from one. I'm not talking about Adam and Eve story and this and that. I'm not saying it was just one mom. It was our mom, everybody's mom. I'm talking about it could have been one person's aunt, one person's nephew, one person's cousin, one person's great aunt, one person, this, that. But we have somewhere around 500,000 years ago, we all have an intersecting relative that is a womb man. This is a fact. All right. So basically the Greeks, anytime you hear Christ saying Emmanuel or the Christ in the Bible saying Father, it's the word pater, or in Greek it's pronounced pater, kind of like fancy with it, but it's basically Potter. Okay. And pater is like the word pair, two. And the reason it's a pair is because it's the masculine and the feminine in one. Okay. But they were calling it the Father. But if you look and go further into the word God, which is theos, it goes into God or goddess. All right. So it says, if you go into the ancient Greek text, the word theos, most of their ancient writings say goddess for theos. All right. The word that is used in the Bible for God. So again, I don't want to attack Biblicans, but if you would like to invite some of your Biblican friends here and they would like to know the truth, there's this, if they have the kind of spirit where they turn their head and they, especially if they start saying like physical things, like, look at him, look at his hat and his fat, he looks Muslim. Or he's got a beard. He's got what is that sticking out of his cap? Then that means they're not even ready for the Bible to let alone the real truth. If they're on that type of alignment spiritually, where they're just like, look, who is this? And listen to how he talks. He sounds like he's in the hood or something. If they're talking like that, it doesn't matter if they're driving a Mercedes Benz and their children are playing soccer and they're a soccer mom or this and that, and they live in a 5,500 square foot house. Actually, what they're doing is reflecting themselves when they say things like that. Look at him. Look at that. Look at her. Look at that. They're reflecting what's coming out of their heart. It's being filtered through the ego. It's coming out of their mouth. All right, meaning they have a blockage in their energy points, their seals to the book of life. Life comes, meaning their higher self, or if you want to say oversoul, really, it's not even oversoul, it's your soul, period. You don't have a soul over your soul. Okay, it's soul. There's no soul over your soul. Soul is soul. You're connected through the umbilical cord. Okay, which is the greatest of spirit. Spirit. SPHI. Phi. Okay, and the Father, the Spirit is really the Sephiroth. That's where the Kabbalah gets the Sapphire, the Sephiroth. That has to do with the sapphire, the blue flame, and the red sun, blue sun. That will get completely off. I'll go on a complete tangent. We won't even touch this subject if I go off on that. So, I explained last teaching. You say hi to the people, baby. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hope you're having a good night. You say that?
You done?
I'm not done yet, baby. I just started.
Taking forever.
Forever. I just got started. One day you're gonna be doing this, so you have to know this stuff. Here, want some juice?
What's this?
It's good juice.
Lemon.
Come on. You're gonna be keeper of this right here one day, so you need to know this stuff.
What it tastes like? Taste it. What it tastes like?
Tastes good. That's all I know. All right. Okay, so
We got one page back here.
okay, baby. Let me keep going. I'm gonna need that in a moment, so keep that over there, please. So you're one of a kind, right? Pater, where they say Jesus was always saying Father, he was saying Pater. That goes back to the Egyptians. You remember the Greeks took over the Egyptian dynasty, which was the Hyksos at that time. They called it Ptah. All right, which was a picture of who, if you take it all the way back, it goes back to Ea, EA. People say EA or Ea. No, that's Yah. Okay, and then it goes back to the Canaanite name Hallel. So Hallel and Ea is the same person. It's Lucifer. That's another thing that I believe Archaics teaches, that the benefactor is Enoch, who is Enki. There's far too much. I mean, all you gotta do is go to the etymology, and you don't have to go any further. That Enki is the being named Lucifer. So if you think that and Enoch is not Enki, for one. Enoch was and Enoch is not a benefactor neither. Enoch was not a benevolent. Enoch was for the Agigi. Okay, the fallen angels are not the Anunnaki Elohim. The fallen angels were made beings, made by the Anunnaki. Okay, that is the fallen angels, the Agigi. There was only a certain, they only made about 500 of them. Okay, and that is who you call your gray aliens today. That is the Agigi. Okay, they've been outside of literally live underground and outside of our crater. In the reflection in the sky, they live in what you would call Sirius B. Okay, because the reflection of our crater in the star map is Sirius A. That why you think Sirius is the brightest star in the sky? It's us. It's the Earth crater on the bigger Earth of Tiamat. Sirius A is the brightest star in the sky by far, because that's us. We are the true gods and goddesses that are experiencing life on a lower density. But even at the lower density, our authority, our golden light shines so bright. Now you can't see it with these dye vision, but when you look up there, the because that's plasma, and the plasma vibrates at a higher level. When the energy hits the plasma, it vibrates so high, and it hits the plasma that you're gonna even see it up there. That's what that is. So, and as far as the zodiac, like I said, it's a cycle. So 12,900, approximately 960. They'll tell you it's 12,921 years. That's incorrect. It's closer to 12,960-ish years for every changeover event. It's a pole shift. What is the pole shift? That's another thing people got wrong. It's an energy flip. All right. That's what it is. One by fire, one by water. Okay, because every other one, it gets out of balance. Either the great mother gets out of balance, those that find out the truth that we come from a womb, and that is the real origin of your soul. What happened with them is they got too far into what you would call sex magic. They began doing it became perversion at the end. And not the last one. No, the last one was because they was down here playing with the DNA and all that. Okay, the light bearers. That's Ea Enki, the prince of the Abzu. Ab, it stands for water. Ba stands for soul. So Abba, what they tell you means father, is actually the mother of soul. That's what it is. And all the most ancient stories of the sun is always a mother, never a father. I'm talking about right here on Turtle Island. Right here on Turtle Island. Stories upon stories upon stories. Way more mythology. See, we always concentrate on over there and all because of the Bible over in Israel and this and that and in Canaan and the Far East and India and stuff. We got just as much, if not more, right here. It's just that it's been hidden because of the way the resets have happened. Okay, but it's about the flip. All right, everything's going to flip. After this this flip that's coming, the way that the pyramids are revered and looked at as like the most ancient and like the center, the cradle of civilization. Then after this flip, it's gonna be in South America. It's gonna flip. I forget the exact country, but it's gonna be in South America. Everything's going to flip, including where everything is at and all of that. And the mind, the state of mind and spirituality, everything. So, and you can feel it and see it happen. It's happening within all of you right now. And on this one, the reason fire is needed is because the fire represents the father. So why? So guess what? The fire is coming because the masculine energy has gotten too far out of control. Therefore, they are bringing it upon themselves. Plasma is coming. Zeus's lightning bolts are coming. And guess who they're coming for? Them. The ones that have taken it out of balance. And those who are out of balance and who are incarnated here at the moment it's coming. And it's coming. Now, can we say 2040 and 2046? Yes, us teachers, we can put these dates out just to give you a heads up. But do we know that it's going to be 2040 and 2046? No, no one does. Everybody, and Brother Jason, I love you. I love you, brother. I love all your work. I respect everything you do. I'm only using Jason as a reference point because of his work is so unique, and he is a master teacher. Okay, so that's the only reason I keep referring to him. I'm not picking with him or anything, because I don't even watch anyone like that, So I really don't know too many people to even use as an example. But Brother Jason is an example. You know, he's got a big following of people who think that May 16th, 2040 is this Phoenix is definitely going to happen. Yes, I did a teaching on his page showing how astronomically, not astronomy, I gave the exact time and everything, date, and down to the minute. I gave the minute, but that is based on if the certain alignment with the stars, that they're not telling you the truth. You have to have an older telescope and go out here on the vernal equinox, which means spring equinox, and you have to look, and when that sun comes up, you have to see which constellation was right below it as it was coming up, or above it, and then which constellation is behind it. You have to be able to see that to know accurately what age, and if we are fully in the age of Aquarius. We are not fully in the age of Aquarius because I've done it. But what I can tell you is during the ages when they move, so does the equator and the path of what we call the sun, the focal point, the intersection of the vibration of what you would call the triple black seed of the mother. Some call it the black hole sun. It's not a sun. It's a black hole, but it's not a sun. It's antimatter. Okay. It's the 90% of everything that exists. Just like the right brain is the 90% of all data that is in your brain. Your 99.999% of humans are only using their left brain, which is only 10%. That's logic. That's the part that they indoctrinate you through their schooling to make sure that that's the crutch you lean on. That's why you put on the black cube on your head. They've now squared the circle, and you move the tassel from the right to the left, because now the tassel is the umbilical cord. They have now indoctrinated you to the 12th degree of Freemasonry. You want to know who's a Freemason? Well, guess what? If you walk that stage and you move that tassel, you're a 12th degree Freemason. Didn't even know it. Walking up the stage and everything, the steps and everything is all part of this ancient ceremony. The number of steps, everything is all part of Masonic Hiram Abiff ceremony. So someone who graduates high school is at a 12th degree already in Masonry. You have now moved the tassel, which is the umbilical cord, to the Great Mother from the right side to the left side, and now you have a square cap on. All right, and then even with your ball caps, that the brim represents the rings of Saturn and all that. It started with the hats that go around, and then they just add the one little brim. Because if you just look at something like 2D, that's what it would look like. You don't see the one brim coming out. It represents the ring. They can't get you to wear a box on your head. They get you to wear something that got to do with Saturn, a ring. Okay, wedding rings, all of that. Okay, I'm not saying all rings on your hands, is because they can have different uses and values, but the ceremonial thing started by a priest of Saturnalia and all that. Baby, you gotta be quiet if you're gonna sit here. Okay. All right, so as I said, they said the only begotten son is Jesus and this and that. Well, it's actually pater goes back to Ei, which is water, which is Abzu. Abba, it goes Baba. So when a baby says Baba, they're asking for what? They're asking for what comes from the bosom, the milk that sustains them. So Baba, Baba, they're calling on the mother's bosom. Okay. And this is even goes to John the Baptist. John the Baptist's name is Oannes, but it's pronounced Ioannis. That's how it was pronounced. Ioannis. Okay. So John the Baptist is also connected to Enki. So is Cain. Cain is Enki as well. It's just move. It's all they use. With the anagrams. They use them frequently. Kein is Cain, and and you can move that to spell Enki as well. So so basically, pater means the originator of anything, founder of a family or tribe, nourisher or sustainer. There goes the baby with the baba. And it also means both parents. And guess what else it means? Guess what pater? So when they tell you Jesus was hollering out everything he said was father, my father, I'm one with my father this, my father that, he wasn't saying that. Guess what pater or pater meant in the Greek language? It literally meant members of the Sanhedrin. That's what they called members of the Sanhedrin, paters or paters. So you think that the real Emmanuel Christ will be sitting there using the same word that they call the members of the Sanhedrin, which was basically the Illuminati of that day, who he said your father is a liar and a murderer, been one from the start. Talking about the being that at that time went by the name Yahweh or Yahuwah or Yahweh, Jehovah, Enlil. It doesn't matter what culture you go to, got a name for it. You think he really was going around and saying, using the same word that meant members, that was the same meaning for members of the Sanhedrin, paters, because they were the ones that were molding everything, as the quote Illuminati, the elites are doing in this moment. All right. So in Matthew 11:11, that they tell you that's angel number. Well, angel just means angle of light, and information, knowledge. All right. A messenger, Malik. The original word for angel is Malik or Moloch. All right, which is a messenger of God, which goes back to Mercury. All right, the messenger of the gods. All right, but the Hebrew Phoenician word was Malik or Moloch, where they get Moloch. All right, so Matthew 11:11, the angel number, the Moloch Malik number, it says, none greater born among women, talking about John the Baptist or Ioannis, talking about John the Baptist. It says that Jesus said, or Isis said, none greater among women. Now, the word used for woman was it's pronounced Gane, but it's gyne, Gyne, like gynecologist, gynecologist. So a gynecologist, logistics, eco, has to do with ecosystems, natural systems. Okay. Or what's the word? Perpetual systems, like economy. Okay, so ecologist, ecologist. The word for woman was it's pronounced Gene, but it's spelled Jin or Gain. So this is also where the word origin comes from. Origin, the word jinn means mother. Why do you think that in the Arabic tradition with Allah, where the women can't show nothing but their eyes, cover it up and everything, and it's the most, they have subdued the sacred feminine more than any other peoples on earth that I know of. And they call demons jinn. Well, that comes from the word gyne, origin, gain, which means womb man. Okay, like that's where they get the word gynecologist. It's really gynecologist. Okay, so there you see again the demonizing of the great mother and the sacred feminine. It goes on and on and on. So the Arabic word for demon, fallen angel, this, that, the other, literally means woman. But yet the whole Islamic religion is based off the testimony of a woman. That's a whole different story. I'm not going to get too far off track. So Matthew 11:14. For any Biblicans, anybody that's want to invite their Biblican friends, you're more than welcome to come. There's been many of people that came here that were Biblicans at one point and got the spell lifted. Okay, am I saying that? Am I talking about Christ? No. I'm the true Christ. No, I'm not. I'm not talking about the true Christ, because that's you. You're the light of this world. All right. You are the only begotten of the origin of eternal soul, life, light, and rest. You are one of a kind. You are what? Think of it. If you're an eternal being and you're what do you? I used to ponder this as a child. What am I going to do for eternity? What would I possibly do for eternity? So if you're an eternal being and you got eternal things to do, then what makes you think there would be that would run out of souls that we would have to start making the same soul again? That's just nonsense. It's nonsensical. Okay, that means you're thinking with your left brain. That's the people that probably, well, show me in a book. What book is this in? I need a book. Somebody give me a book. What book, Chief? What book are you reading this from? What book? I need a book. Book. Well, my book will be out soon. And then when you ask what book, I'll tell you what page to go to of the book that has everything that's been unveiled through me by the greatest of spirit. My best friend in the whole world. Called him my brother since we were small children. I haven't seen him in over a decade. Came back here, started teaching to him when we went and played basketball together. Got into what I teach. He doesn't even know what I teach or anything. Got into what I teach, and he started asking questions, and it got a little intense. And he kept asking, what book? Give me a book. I need a book. Book. And, it's difficult to deal with. That's how far indoctrinated everyone is, man, that they really need a book. And that's why you got to be careful with teachers that all they do is rely on books. I've read 6,000 books. I got books from the 1800s, 1700s. It doesn't matter. They're all written by men. So the only thing you know is now. The only way that we have won is now, to know now. You have to know to be able to move a mountain right now. You can't, the past, knowing something in the past ain't going to get you to move a mountain right now. And what's going to happen in the future is not going to get you to move a mountain right now. Only what happens right now is going to be able to move a mountain now. Whether the mountain starts getting moved now or not, it has to begin now. Not arguing about what happened and this and that and when's the pole shift. Man, look, that the internal pole shift is for you. What's internal? Everything internal is surrounded by darkness. Everything internal is what matters. Everything external is matter. Look how they flipped. They even called it matter. Had the audacity to call it matter. So you think it matters. Everything external matter. Got you praying. Only predators pray to something external. If it's external, that means more than likely it's close to matter. That means it doesn't matter. Everything internal is connected to the Great Mother. Why do you think women, even during sex, they are internal? A man is external. That's why they got the obelisk sitting up everywhere, pointing at the sun. It's all external. A man's organ is external. A woman's is internal. Everything about the sacred is internal. Everything, the way the womb, man, is set up. So it's not about me being on. I've had people come on here talking about like trolls and stuff. Oh, you have, I don't know, what, feminists or something. No, it's about the truth. I didn't make the human genome. I didn't make the now the I have a piece of what made all of that exists within I, and that is who I am and what I am. Yes, a piece of I did do all that, but the individual I, the individual consciousness, that is I. No, I didn't. All I am doing is connecting to the next part that is bigger than I, that is more unified than I. And that is the light. But the top part, the light, comes out of the darkness, the stillness, the rest, or the crest, or the Christ. Okay? The Great Mothers before the Word. How they tell you in the Bible, in the beginning was the Word was God, was with God. The Great Mother is before all of that. Before all of that. Triple darkness. They can't find it. They never will. It's what Elon and all of them are doing. Why you think this man got on all black? They all wear all black. It's because they're trying. That's what their whole existence is about, trying to break out of here. And their God, their Father God, the Most High, El Elyon, Saturn, has promised them that they will live forever. And you want to know the real jinn, which is genie, okay, Gemini, it's got two faces, like Janus. There's the jinn again, Janus. It's the two face. Gemini, the two pillars, to two face. I'm not calling out people that were birthed as Geminis. I'm not saying that's you. I'm talking about these words. Gemini, Janus, Jinn, gynecologist means the womb man. Well, the Jinn, the genie is the two-faced one. So that's the Most High Jack. That's Yah El the Baoth. That means Yah and El both. That's Ka Ya In, Cain, and Abba El. Yah and Yah, El, the Baoth. Yah and El, the both. All right. It's a two-faced God. I what do you say? I create evil and I fashion good, is what Yahweh, Yahuwah says in the Bible. Doesn't say I create good. It says I create evil and fashion good. Meaning cannot create good because it's a liar from the beginning and a murderer from the beginning. Okay? It goes against the tide, the flow, the tide, the great mother's rivers of living water. This thing goes against the current every time. That's what this thing is all about. Okay? And we can get into archetypes and all that about what these different things mean, Antichrist and this and that. But that dude, Elon Musk, he's already merged with the robot. That dude is not full human. Neither is Zuckerberg and all them. And so ask yourself, why, if Trump was benevolent, why would he be surrounding himself with these energies, with these entities? Drain the swamp. But you got half robot cyborg people in your cabinet meeting. What's a cabinet? Okay, back in ancient times, it's where witches would keep all their tools and things and torturing devices and things like that. That's where this comes from. Julius Caesar. Okay, when he said go to the cabinet, that meant go get the cat of nine tails and all that stuff, torture devices and things like that. When malevolent witches and sorcerers and things would have a cabinet, it all goes back to divination. So I said, don't use the word divine masculine, divine feminine. It's sacred. They've turned to scared. You're operating in fear. The only fear we're supposed to operate with is fire, earth, air, and rivers of living water. That's it. All right. So for any Biblicans that think reincarnation is evil, okay, it's all throughout the Bible. Matthew 11:14, it says, if ye will receive it, this is Elias. Talking about John the Baptist, Oannes, saying this is Elias. Well, that's the same word that they tell you that Christ used when he was on the cross. Now they kind of distort it and move it around, change it from Aramaic to Hebrew. But he said Elias, sabachthani. Why have thou forsaken me? It says, but that's not even what it says. That's not even the real translation in Aramaic. But it says Elias. All right. What is Elias? Well, Elias comes from the word. It's the origin word of the word alias. Alias, which means reincarnation. Your alias, if you have an alias, that means you have another name you go by, another character you go by. So Elias, lama sabachthani. All right. Alias. All right. And I'll get into that. But Elias, they tell you, is Elijah. Eliah. All right. Eliah. All right. They tell you Elias is Elijah, the one that killed a bunch of little kids because they're making fun of his bald head. He sick bears on him and had little 5-year-old kids killed because they was making fun of his bald head. But it's a man of God, the Father God, the Godfather, right? So Elias is the word for alias. It's another character. So if thou will receive it, this is Elias. John the Baptist is Elias, Eliah, who is Yah. Who'd I tell you? Yah, Yah. John the Baptist is Yah, Enki, the Lord of the water, the Abzu, the fresh water, the Jordan River, baptizing. Do you see? If ye will receive it, meaning by free will, are you going to give your consent and buy into this? Are you going to come on being part of our legion of light? Because that's why is Luciferianism the light bearer? Why does it say that Satan, his angels, its angels come as angels of light? Why is it light? But they demonize the darkness. Because the great mother, where you really come from, is the darkness. And people are getting hip to this. Saturn Moon Matrix. Don't go into that white light. You better go back to the darkness, and then you'll start seeing a light that's clear. It's like clear like water. Like how when you look through clear water, and then eventually you'll get to that golden light, which is the aura, the original Ra, that actually stems from the mother again. I can prove. So Elias actually comes from the mother as well. So Elias, all right, Elijah comes from the word Helias, all right, which means you know, like Heliopolis, Helias. So Elijah comes from the original word Helias, which means taken up to the sky without dying. Okay, remember Elijah was translated into the sky. He didn't die like Enoch, like Enki. Remember they just said, if you will receive it, this is Elias. This Oannes, John the Baptist. If you will receive it, this is Elias, aka Elijah, aka Enoch, that was translated up. If you will receive it, this is Enki. Okay? So it comes from the word Helios, which means taken up to the sky without dying. All right? Which is in Greek Helios, which is the Greek sun god. And then we have it, which stems into the word Hyperion, which means the one above. And then that goes into Phaethon, which means the shining or the shining one. That goes into the seraphim, the shining ones. Okay, that also means the fiery serpents. All right, the seraphim. But so it goes from Helios to Helios to Hyperion to Phaethon. But guess where the original word comes from? Helia, which means it's a girl's name. The original word that all of these words come from, even before Elijah, was Helia, which is a girl's name that means sustainer, life giver, purity, irrepressible aura, irrepressible golden light. And in the time of the Greeks was the time of the bronze sun or the golden sun. The Egyptians had the red sun. It transitioned into orangish color for a little bit. Then it went to a bronze color. Was when the Greeks came down and took over Egypt. They had a bronze sun. They worshipped. It was the Heliopolis and all that. It was the bronze sun. They tell you in the statue of Nebuchadnezzar and all that, the gold and the silver and the bronze and the to the iron and the clay. It's the sun cycle, my friends. It's the ancient sun cycle. It's not prophecy. None of these men are prophesying to you. The only ones that are actually telling the truth are just tapped into the greatest of spirit. Plain and simple. as you are partaking in at this moment. So Helia, where they get Heliopolis, the sun, basically, the one above, the one that's in the sky without dying. It never dies. It comes, it goes into the underworld. It fights Set and Seth and Nephthys and this one and that one. And Ra fights Apep every night and with 6 weapons, and even got Set fighting and under a trance because it ate the semen of Heru off of the leaves. So now Set is under a trance and he's fighting for Ra on the ark that goes under into the underworld, and then the sun rises again. Guess what? It all comes from a womb, man. Even the sun, the name of the sun comes from the womb, man. Helia, which comes from Leo, Helio. All right. And we're going to get into that. That also is where Elo comes from. And I got a whole old teaching. I'm gonna have to bust it out on y'all, because the one that I did on archaics, if you think that one blew your mind, this one will blow your socks off. I can show you with the first 3 words of the Bible, the whole cycle too. The same way I did with the alphabet, I can show you with the first word. I mentioned it in the teaching that I did on archaics, but then Jason and I got into an organic conversation, so I just let it go. But I can show you this. I can show you the whole cycle. I can show you everything from 6 Phoenician characters, the whole sun cycle from 6 characters. Bereshith, the word Bereshith, which just means be reset. It's just telling you how to be it's just encoded, be reset in the beginning. It's just telling you when the beginning is coming. And then later in the Kabbalistic text, well, Kabbalah just means it's not written. It's only given down by word. The same way my tribe, we don't write things. Okay. That's why the book that I'm putting out is not, it doesn't have anything that's I've had to speak to the elders about this. I'm not giving out any secrets of our personal tribe. Like, I'm not gonna give out breaking down exactly what the Serpent Mountain means and what's under the Serpent Mountain and what it was for and all that, because that has to do with our tribe. I cannot do that. But what I can do is expose everything else that's been given to me by the grace of spirit. All right. So, yeah, the Helia is a girl's name that means sustainer, purity. Purity means virgin. Irrepressible aura means an aura that's irrepressible. You can't stop it. Okay. Now, and I know this is all about the matriarchy, and I know I'm getting into the Jesus and stuff, but when I'm done this series, you'll see why it'll come full circle, because you can't speak about the mysteries of the matriarchy without the sun, S-O-N and S-U-N. So Jesus in Greek, you got to remember the New Testament is Greek. There is no New Testament in Hebrew. The only New Testament in Hebrew is the Hebrew Sefer Bible that was just made in like 1970 something. It's on its 5th version now, and they've changed it so many different times. And then they got the Yahweh something or other. These are all new Bibles that they're trying to make you think they're like old, because they're going back and they're taking the Greek language and putting it in Hebrew. Okay, when Greeks are the one that made the word Hebrew and made the Hebrew language. There was no Hebrew language. Hebrew is Phoenician. Look at the map where they was at. Phoenician or Venetian and was up north. Then you have Canaan. The Yahwist or Jacobites was just roaming around. Okay. Just as the Romans, just roaming around, have nowhere to call their own, because they're inorganic beings. They're the ones that they were made in the science lab called Eden. Okay. the cube, that there's another one coming. It tells you right in the Bible. They tell you it's another cube coming down as a bride adorned like for her husband. And they tell you how big it's going to be. Basically, if you do the math, it's 1,500 miles square feet, or excuse me, square miles, 1,500 square miles. This Eden. So there's another Eden coming again. And it's not really a perfect cube. It's a Merkaba. And what it is it's a soul battery. So all the people that make it through that are meant to make it through this, all these resets and pole shifts that are coming, most of us are here because we came back for certain reasons, particular reasons. We chose to guide and things, or it's your graduation. This is your graduation. Okay. And all the ancestral texts talk about the graduation of the eons, that it's at the end of ages that souls ascend. Okay. They rest until then. All right. Now, so in Strong's G2424, which is 66, they love it. Look, G, G, they love that G, that Freemasonic G. So they got the G66 in the Strong's Concordance. It says Jesus' name is Isus, which is pronounced Isis. All right. If you look into the Strong's Concordance, look it up. G2424 to any Biblicans that watch this. If you go down a little bit further, it's not just talking about Jesus the Christ. It also says Jesus, meaning Jehovah or Yahweh is salvation. But yet not one time in the Old Testament did Yahweh or Jehovah mention salvation or eternal life or life after death. Not once. There's not one verse in the Old Testament of your Bible that talks about eternal life, life after death, anything. It just talks about the land flowing with milk and honey. That was your promise. And they still ain't got it. Because the people claiming that they're the Hebrews today are over here in America on the street corner. I'm not knocking any of these brothers. They're just ignorant. They're online teaching the Bible until they're blue in the face, trying to convince someone that they are a certain people. No, what they're doing really trying to convince themselves. They're reflections, beloved. Everybody's a reflection. The people that are online trying to convince you that it's this people that are the true Hebrews, they're trying to convince themselves. If they knew who they were, they would be walking their walk, and there would be no need for them trying to convince anybody on who they are. Am I on here trying to convince you that I'm a real chief and that I've been initiated into chieftain status, chieftain initiation about a year and a half ago? Do I get on here and in any way try to I even had some people that was day one followers on Facebook that was saying they were calling the tribes and this and that, and don't even got a clue. I see someone that says mods help. I think the only mod I have in here is Monica, Sister Monica. I don't know what's going on, but just move with love, and but once you're moving with love, if someone is becoming a problem in the chat, then you can go ahead and do what you got to do. I'm not the type person that's going to get on here and be all cocky and say zero tolerance, we're going to kick you. No, because I love you and I want you to get the truth. I love you. Okay. And I will allow you, but if you're being disrespectful and you know what I mean, and you're doing too much, you got two ears and one mouth. just chill out, okay? It's okay to be quiet sometimes and just relax. Just relax and just listen. If you disagree, listen. And then you can go, this video is going to be up. You can go into no one even looks at these comments on the rewatch. These aren't even the comments that are going to be seen. So if you really want to make a point, wait until the video gets posted for the rewatch and then go in the comment section. That's what everybody sees. No one's even going to see this. So you know, are you here to learn, or are you really here just to be a child? A kid, not even a child. You know what a kid is? A goat. A goat is one of the most stubborn animals there is. Okay? Intelligent too. Smart, but not wise. They're stubborn. So you're on here being a kid. Stop it. All right? Present yourself as an eternal soul, because if you're unable to do that, then we have to speculate that you may not be an eternal soul, and that means you are not supposed to be here. So moderators, I'll leave that with you. Okay? Now, moving on. So, Jesus said Jehovah's salvation. It means Jehovah's salvation. Jehovah never once mentioned salvation or heaven or life after death. Not once. Not even once in the Old Testament. Go a little bit further in Strong's Concordance G 24:24:66. It says that it means Jesus bar Abbas. Jesus Barabbas. Remember the guy that the Jews was asking to let go? They could let the Christ go. They could let Barabbas go. Guess what Barabbas' first name was? Jesus. Ding, 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 ding. They ain't light bulbs go off. Barabbas' first name was Jesus. What preacher has told you that? It's right there. It's looking Strong Concordance G 24:24. Jesus Barabbas. Barabbas was his surname. The one that said, sell all your clothes and sell all your clothes and belongings and get swords and weapons and stuff. We going to war. It's in red letters, and it says Jesus said this. Yeah, Jesus did say that. Jesus Barabbas. 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 His first name was Jesus. Barabbas was his surname. That's why it's in red letters. First, you got in the Garden of Gethsemane, you got Peter, the Jew Peter, Jupiter, Zeus pulling out swords, cutting people's ears off, and Emmanuel saying, no, chill. What are you doing? Stop. Ain't nobody using swords around here. But then you got in the red letters a few in different verse in the New Testament saying, sell all your belongings and get swords and knives and weapons. We're going to war. That was Jesus Barabbas talking. Okay. It also means Joshua, that was the captain of the Israelites, Moses' predecessor. Okay. And it was also Jesus, son of Eliezer, okay, which is in Luke 3:29 and in Jesus Christ ancestry. It's in Luke 3:29. It says ancestor. And then there was also Jesus Justus. Jesus just us. And this was Paul's right-hand man. Traveled with Paul everywhere he went. Jesus. So when Paul was talking about Jesus, half time he talking about Jesus Justus. This is not Chief Iron Bush telling you this. This is all in. All you gotta do is look in your Bible, dig a little deeper, then accept what the preacher man's indoctrinated you with, the same way that the schoolhouse is indoctrinated you with 12 degrees, moving you from your right brain intuition, the feminine energy, to the right brain or the left brain logic, into a robot, Elon Musk, Neuralink. Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me plug this up. They just said the computer's getting ready to go into sleep mode. Give me 1 second. Excuse me, one moment. My baby knocked out. Oh. All right. We want to say that. Okay. See if we can get this right. Okay. Excuse me if you see me doing weird movements and stuff. My back is really messed up. Actually, let me go ahead and cast that down. My back is wonderful. My back is feeling excellent. Feels the best it's ever has. All right, so that's just Strong's Concordance G2424. Take that to your preacher on Sunday. See what they say. They're gonna look at you dumbfounded. They're gonna say, "You just gotta believe." Oh, that's confusion, sister. I don't know who you're learning this from, but that's just confusion. That's the devil. That's the devil trying to get you. Nah, there's no boogeyman out here coming after you. The boogeyman was coming after you. The boogeyman would have got you by now. Biggest enemy of you is yourself. Everyone always asks me all the time, Chief, how did you learn did you learn all this? Where? How? Like, people are dumbfounded because I got out the way. I already had my pole shift. I don't need what's coming to happen. I already had my pole shift. My ego is at the bottom where it's supposed to be. You don't remove the ego. You need the ego here. It's a defense. The ego is, when I talk about accessing the feminine energy, that's the 90%. Dark matter, antimatter. Okay, that's the unseen. That's where the unseen light and everything's come from. Why you think they say the angels of Satan or Lucifer, light bearers and all that, come as angels or knowledge of light? Ra legions. Legion is a pack. Ra is radiation or visible light. Why do you think 90% is unseen? That's eternity. 10% is the masculine energy that is needed to be here in time. Now, I'm not saying in eternity everybody's all feminine. No, it's perfect balance. That's what heaven is. The word heaven is even. It's the scales of my eye. It's the feather in your heart. The heart is the centerpiece. It's the centerpiece of the seesaw. You see and you saw. You see and you saw. Well, if you saw, that's the past. When you see, it's now. Okay? And you only see for 1 minute. But if you get too high and you get stuck on the sea and you just sitting up there, you also idle because you're looking too far into the future. You're looking too far. You can't see that it's a snake crawling up on you right by the seesaw. Because you just sitting up on the high part looking up, when the most important part of that seesaw is the middle part. That's why your heart is, you got 3 below, your heart is the 4th. Then you got 3 above. Your heart is the one that balances it all. You got root, sacral, soul, lar, solar plexus is not where your soul is. I know people say all that. Oh, well, your soul is in your... Because your gut is where, all your head. That's the talking physical stuff again. Okay? It has nothing to do with nothing in your gut and all that. That's for your physical body. Of course, if you want to preserve yourself. It's called the law. It's a universal law of preservation. Yes, you want to take care of your avatar. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going to the gym, but it profits you just a little. Okay? If you want to profit yourself, in abundance, in harmony, and harmonically, then put your treasure where it should be. Okay? So you got your root, sacral, solar, which is your edification process, because you got to get edified by the knowledge before it can go into your heart. Then your heart has to balance everything, even what's below. What's below? The ego. The ego is below. That's why the story of Jacob and the angel touching his hip and knocking his hip out of place, what he's trying to say was he got his lower self out of place. He totally removed his ego, and is now his lower self is not in alignment. He's only operating from the chakras from his hip up. But he's not using from his hip down, meaning he's being manipulative and using his higher self and not worried about the lowly people. That's the story of Jacob or Jacob or Israel. When the angel, the angle of light, when they were wrestling, he was like, show me God, this and that. And he called that place Pineal. Pineal, it's all the light. Well, the pineal gland is surrounded by darkness. The only light the pineal gland can see is darkness. It's invisible. That means it's darkness to you. Okay? So when he's wrestling with this angel, this angle of light, this knowledge, the angle or the knowledge popped his hip out of place. He couldn't handle it because he was forcing it instead of receiving it harmonically from the greatest of spirit. He wrestled with it. He's trying to subdue the knowledge and take it. That's the secret societies. That's the brotherhoods that are running this world, the elites. That's the 33-degree Freemasons that approached me at the coffee shop. That's what they're doing. They're taking it by force. We don't take anything by force. It's magnetism. It comes to us. Universal laws. You chase something, it's going to run from you. We chase nothing. We attract. People are attracted to you because you glow. They can't see it with their eyes, their division, but they sense it. Not with their five senses, because only five senses only feel matter. Crying doesn't mean you're sad. Crying, you can cry because you got your window open and the air is hitting your eyes. Tears can be coming down your face from going down the road in your car with your window cracked. Tears don't mean that what about crying? That's pain. No, that can be laughter. That can be anything. That can be the allergies, anything. The five senses is Allah. Arm, leg, arm, head. So is everything, all this technology. The Greek word in your Bible for idolatry is techne. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, both of them idols. Elon's making idolatry, and Trump is an idol. So, all right. So basically what I'm trying to show you is there was like 4 Jesuses in the Bible. And one of them actually had red letters speaking. And it was pronounced Isis. The one that we know is Christ. But the real Christ that we speak of in the Bible's name is Emmanuel. Not Emmanuel. Exclamation of the great mother within time. Is what the name means in Aramaic. The Essene sect that Emmanuel came from only spoke Aramaic. They didn't speak Hebrew. Didn't speak Greek. So he wasn't saying Pater. Me and the Pater are one. Me and the Father are one. No, he wasn't saying that. He didn't speak Greek. He only spoke Aramaic. Why do you think they got rid of Aramaic? Tell you it's a dead language. Why you think you don't have no Aramaic encyclopedia or anything like that? They tell you it's dead language. Same way they tell that my language, Unami, is dead. Okay. My tribe speaks. I have to speak a different clan I'm the Sagamore of the Unami clan, and I have to speak the language of the Wolf clan. Of same tribe. It's all under the Algonquin nation. But I'm not even able to really speak. I'm probably the only person incarnated right now that knows my tribe's native tongue. That's a fact. All right. Anyway. So, and back to the sun being going back to the woman. In Spanish, the word is Solana. It's Solana, that's a woman's name. In French, it's Solil. That's French. In Hebrew is Phoenician. In Spanish, it's Marisol. 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 And then it's Maria de Soledad. That's when they started changing it to Soledad. And that means Mary of Solitude. That's the Catholic. That's when the Romans started getting a hold of the language and started tricking everything and turn. But the hijack from the Great Mother to Father God started with the Sumerians. Well, they did it in Atlantis too, but I'm not going to get into Atlantis right now. I can do a whole teaching on Atlantis and everything and let you guys know. Okay, so let me see. What was that? Okay, so another word. So it says in what verse is it? In Hebrews 5:6, it says Jesus is a priest of Melchizedek. All right. This is where the bread and the wine, the whole title of this video, this teaching comes from. Hebrews 5:6. Melchizedek, right? Christ is Jesus. Isis is the priest of Melchizedek, the king of Salem. Well, Jerusalem there was no J, remember? It's Heru, Salem. So the king of Salem in Heru, Salem, Heru is Horus. So Horus, Salem. All right. So there's your connection with Melchizedek and Horus. Don't you think that's a coincidence? Okay. Well, guess what the word for priest is? Priest or early Christian. Guess what they were called? Herus. Don't believe me? Look up Strong's G2409. The priest of Christ or the priest of anyone that followed Christ, the early Christians were called Herus. Heru is Horus. It's actually spelled Horus. You can say Herus or Herus. All right, but it's Herus. Heirus. Herus. That's the word for priest, not just any priest. The priest of those that follow Isis. All right, Isis. They tell you Jesus. Why are the priests of Jesus called Herus? Why is his name Isis? Why do they have the black virgin holding the little baby that is the same picture coming from the ancient Egyptian? Look, they have statues that are in Catholic churches and churches in France, in England, all across the world that have been proven. They're made of basalt that are from ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet. That is Isis and Heru. And they're telling you it's Mary and Jesus. When the original New Testament in Greek, there was no Jesus, it was Isis. So we have Isis, and the priests of Jesus are called Herus. You think, Chief, you think I'm just pulling this out of my hat? Just look up Strong's G2409. All right. So, and then it talks about Melchizedek, it was the who came to Abram. There's the Ab and the Ram. Remember? Ab, and then the Ram came, Abram. He just got his H once he got his spirituality in alignment. H just stands for spirit. That's all H is. All right. H is just meant spirit. It's breath. So Abram to Abraham just means he got the spirit now. His spirit's in alignment. Okay. Same way Sarai, they just added the H on the end. Sarah. She got the now. She got the breath, the spirit, the air. Right? She now has got touched by the greatest of spirit. Sephirit. Sephirit. All right? The Sep fire. Sep is seven, the seven light, the seven colors, and fire is the aura. All right, the invisible light. Now, so Melchizedek gets 10% tithe, right? Tithe means tenth. That's what it means. That means Abraham gave 10% over to Melchizedek. What 10% did he give? Okay, it says the king of Salem is Melchizedek. Well, Jerusalem is Salem. Remember, the priest of Isis, who they call Jesus, are known as Herus. So Melchizedek, Salem, the king of Salem is Melchizedek. All right, Melchizedek. Abram tithes to him 10%. Now the king of Sodom, like Sodom and Gomorrah, comes out and says, just give me back the people, and I'll let you keep the material things. Ding, 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 ding. Same exact story of Jesus in the desert for 40 days when Satan came to him and said, all you got to do is just bow down to me. You can have all the whole world, all the material, all the matter, the visible matter. Same thing the king of Sodom said to Abram. King of Sodom said, just give me back the people. Abram said, I'm not even going to give you one hair, or no, excuse me, one thread. He said, I won't give you one thread. That was the 10th, the tithe to Melchizedek, which was Abram stopped living off of the 10% left brain logic, saying I can have all this material stuff, but I'm going to go against my logic and I'm going to give that over. So he gave it that, he tithed it to, and it says, and they broke bread and wine, right? So listen. So bread, metaphysically, always stands for truth. All right. So you got the truth. Well, where's the truth come from? The truth is the 90%. The truth is the unseen. How many times they tell you that what you see is not where the battle's occurring? The battle is not in the physical. It's in the unseen realm. Principalities are the unseen. Spirits, principalities, powers in the unseen realm. Okay, that's the truth. And the unseen realm is 90%. That's the dark matter that CERN and the LHC, Large Hadron Collider, is trying to tap into. They're trying to see the unseeable. And that's also what Emmanuel means. Emmanuel. Nu means the prism of light that's unseeable. It's seeable but uncountable. It's seeable and unseeable, countable, uncountable. It's a prism, okay, of the unseeable light of the Great Mother. That's what Emmanuel means. Emmanuel. God with us. The unseeable light that became flesh, that came down and went inside of a seeable shell. But the real thing that's moving this thing and speaking and communicating is unseeable. You won't see it. They can't follow us. They can't find us. They can't find our realm. They can't find the ancestral realm. They can't do nothing. Our authority is so much greater than these peons. Did you see that one video I did a couple days ago when I was riding in the car? When I'm riding in any video you see of me riding in a vehicle, that's just a friend talking to a friend. That's the third time they hit the end of the video, which is the closing is always the strongest part of it. I don't plan what I'm gonna say. That's the great spirit flowing like water. That's the great spirit flowing like water. And the end is always like the grand finale. And they hit it with white noise twice. And then the last video they either had some kind of demonic AI filter over top of what I was saying, or we really, those that heard it and played it, I put instructions for. I normally don't tell anybody what to say, but in this case, I had to recommend something to go ahead and cleanse your sphere. So for those that didn't know how to do that, I gave instructions how to do that, how to cleanse your sphere. And your sphere is not just your spirit, it's for whatever you love. Mësët, all that you love. So that means you have a sphere around your home right now. You have a sphere around your property. It don't matter if you own it or not. Nobody owns nothing here. Don't nobody own no land here, water, air. So don't let nobody tell you just because you renting something, it's not yours, or this or that. It's not theirs. Nothing here is anybody's. They don't own nothing. That's why they call it rights. And right now they spell RIGHT, but really it's RITES. And that's what they used to do, blood rights and blood magic and all that. That started with the patriarch, the Most High Jack. Previous to that, we never shed blood. Did we have disagreements? Of course. But we always worked it out without shedding blood. We had athletic competitions, things like that. Stuff like that, dancing. This is a fact. This is a fact. Competition, see who would climb the tree, get up the tree and get a certain thing and get down with it, like capture the flag type thing. Wrestling competition, stuff like that. We didn't shed no blood. Ever. Until this thing, this mind, because all is mine. It's all meant to be. No coincidence. Remember, everything is meant to be. So everything is mine to be. To be now. That's why when they tell you God's name, they told Moses, I am that I am. Well, look that up. Haya, Asher, Haya. It doesn't mean I am that I am. It means I'm going to be. I will be. If you even go deeper into it, it says, I'm going to attach to you as a parasite, the Lord of hosts. I'm going to attach to you and I will be. Eventually, I'm going to be. I'm going to come to pass is what Haya, Asher, Haya means. It don't mean I am that I am. It's another lie they done told you. Any takers? I mean, I've been teaching for years and not one person, and I'm not saying this egotistically because I only give glory to the greatest of spirit. Like I said, I got out the way. That's that. Everyone wants to know how. For one, it's my calling, and I can say this and be real with you. It's the reason I came back. Okay, I did not have to come back. I came back for this reason. All right. And I'm not saying that as some delusional nutcase out here talking about he's a star seed or something. I'm telling you the truth. Now, So your calling might not be to be on here teaching at, the way that I'm teaching, but you're meant to be benevolent and you're meant to be you. And ultimately, you're meant to be. So, what we talking about? So gave him the 90% bread always equals truth, right? So wine always means spirit. Wine always represents spirit, particularly the right hemisphere of the brain, the right, and the reason being because spirit was always feminine. Going back ancient. It was only recently the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, three dudes sitting around. I'm not gonna be disrespectful, but come on now. What is three dudes going around creating everything? What's loosed in heaven is loosed on earth. I don't know about three dudes creating anything on earth. So that means it's not getting loosed in heaven. So that means if it's really three dudes, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, that means that you're calling Christ a liar. He said what's loosed in heaven is loosed on earth. But the preacher man telling you it's the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, three dudes. Sword fight. Creating everything. Where do you see that down here? That means it would have, if it's loosed in heaven, it's loosed down here. That means you would look around and you would see three dudes bringing a soul into this realm. It's only one being that can do that. It's only one being that can carry two souls at one time. 3, 4, 5 at once. 2, yet one. The womb, where organic minds begin, where our minds begin, is the womb. All is mine, remember? All is meant to be. Be is now. You aren't being in the past. How are you being and you worried about what happened, trying to figure out, then let me put this together. This is 6,000 years old. No, that didn't happen. You're not being. You're not being. Because if you would slow down and be quiet and be still, it will all be unveiled to you. Knock, the door shall open. You don't knock and then you just run shoulder first through the door. You don't mule kick the door down after you knock. You be still. The origin of eternal soul, life, light, and rest. Crest, meaning the middle, the heart, earth. Christ, the crest, the middle, the seed of the mother coming out, making the tree of life, the toroidal field coming out and then coming back in through the earth, the bigger, the macro earth, getting cleansed, coming through your soles of your feet, coming back in through your soul, through your root. The root, because you are the tree. That is the tree of life. You are the tree of life. The seed of the mother. And guess where your energy comes out at up here? You see this? It's more meaning to that if I showed you closer. But it comes out when the baby is birthed. Be earth. Birth just means when you be to earth. When you be earthed. When the baby soft spot is where the toroidal field comes out. It's where the sprout can start sprouting out. And when it hardens, that means the toroidal field's already flowing. It's now flowing. The branches, the little branches are starting to grow out already. In the unseen. The 90%. And the mother's intuition can feel that. Can feel it all. Mother's intuition. Where do you think mother's intuition come from? The masculine, logic. No. Intuition. The left brain, the masculine, is just meant to protect the intuition and to help interpret it. Okay? It protects, it blocks it's a bodyguard, it's a bouncer that's supposed to protect things from getting to the intuition. And it's supposed to do its best to interpret the intuition and help the intuition. It's 10% helping the 90%. That's why these people tell you gotta get rid of the ego. No, you don't get rid of the ego. You just have to rely on your higher self, 90%. And the 10% ego is just your helpmeet. That's it. So, let me see. So with Melchizedek and Abraham, after he tied that, then he got the H after he did this with Melchizedek, right? So you got 90%, the bread is truth. 90% truth is the unseen realm. And wine is the spirit of the right hemisphere of the brain. That's 90% dark matter. It's the invisible. The whole you and I verse is made up of dark matter. The only things you see are the little atoms. Atom. Everything else is subatomic, before atom. Means the dark matter before atom, the womb. The circle that encompasses all yet has no circumference. So, all right. So Melchizedek, let's see what this word means. Well, Mel means dark. Mel, like melanin, melatonin. Melatonin you take at nighttime, melatonin puts you to sleep. Got to do with the darkness. When the nighttime comes, you take the melatonin and puts you to sleep, makes you sleep. That's melatonin. Melanin is the pigmentation of skin, how dark your skin is. Mel means dark or the darkness. So this is what Melchizedek means. So Mel, and then if you go milk, if you add the C, milk, it means milk or lactose, which is the milk and honey, which is the Christos, the anointing that gets released from the queen's chamber, the pituitary gland, and the king's chamber, the pineal gland. Why do you think you only see the pine cone? You don't see the pituitary gland. You only see the pine cone because they're all masculine. They're only worried about what gets released from the pineal gland because they can't go no higher and get the crown from the great mother. Times 1,000, 144 times 1,000, that's 144,000. You have 144 actual wheels of light, circles of light, or seals of light on you in your body. You have 7 major ones, big ones that they call chakras or wheels of light or seals or churches. Church means Circe or circle or circus or kirk, which means circle. 7 churches of revelation is just the 7 seals. It's the trials and tribulations you're going to have to go through to get opened. It's 10% you're going to have to sacrifice of this material world spinning. They're telling you this a ball spinning. Yeah, they want your toroidal field spinning instead of flowing, returning. They want it spinning out of order. Okay. They want 2 pyramids counter-rotating, spinning 2 counter ways. That's a Merkaba. That's the 369 energy, parasitical energy. That's that cube coming down out of heaven, adorned like a bride for her husband. What husband? We're in the mother. Oh, it's the body of Christ. No, you're the only begotten offspring. You're the only one. It's the body of the great mother. How is it the body of Christ? You have an umbilical cord to going to Christ? You come from Christ's womb? No, it's the body of the Great Mother. Coming down like a bride adorned for who? The Great Mother? Nah, she don't roll that way, player. Sorry. Take your cube and your Merkaba somewhere else, Yahweh, Enlil, Anunnaki. It ain't working. Because we got the original souls that's going to be here exactly like I am. Exactly like you are. At this very moment. They'll never stop us. And they'll never stop those that are coming into the next now. We've already won. All right. So, Melchizedek. Mel means dark. Milk means lactose, or what comes from the bosom. The bosom of Abraham. They flipped all that. But really it's Mel, dark, chi. You know, chi. Well, chi is your life force. But not only your life force, it's your flowing life force. That's your chi. Everything I've been telling you about coming out of your soft spot on your head, returning to through your soul of your feet. That's your chi. So the dark chi, Mel chi, and the Z is anciently, it wasn't even a letter. It was a symbol for the wise men. Now it didn't mean exactly this terminology, but in today's world, the Z stands for it's a symbol for subatomic. Okay. The Z back then meant for you can't see it. It's invisible. But today it's a symbol for subatomic or the Om. Om. Aum. A-U-M. Aum. The golden vibration. Aum. That's what the Z symbol stands for. The Om. Aum. Okay. Dek. Mel. Chi. Z. Dek. Dek just means to. Dek means to appear. Okay. So basically, Melchizedek was the dark energy appearing, being seen. The same way Emmanuel. Same as the name Emmanuel, the real name of the Christ that you have been reading about in the Bible, the real name Emmanuel. Similar, Melchizedek. It's the dark energy being seen. It says Melchizedek had no father, no mother, no beginning, no end. It's talking about the dark matter, the energy, the circle that encompasses all but yet has no circumference. But it was made seen by Abram. Then he got the spirit. Okay. And Dek, if you think it's just like I'm pulling things out, Dek is where they get like the word decorate. When you decorate something, you make it so it can be seen. You decorate a Christmas tree. You decorate the outside of your house, your lawn, your landscaping. You decorate, outside with flowers and things. So it's seen. You decorate the inside of your house. Dek, Melchizedek. The dark matter, subatomic, before atom that is made seen. That's what Melchizedek is. It's not a person. It's an energy. And Abram finally got it. Okay? Now they tell you Yahweh and this and that. That's a lie. That's a blatant lie. Why do you think the first thing that this entity Yahweh did was he had to get him away from his fathers? He said, I got to get you away from your fathers, because his dad made the statues for the pharaohs and them. Either the pharaohs or the Canaanites, one of them. And he knew he got to hear some of these mystery school teachings, and he knew like more truth than most people. So he had to separate, division, got to divide. Separate means seven, or separation means 7 rations. That's what we call planets today. Oh, I'm into astrology. I go by astrology. Yeah, you getting separate. You getting separation. You giving your energy to 7 different planets. Mercury's in retrograde. Yeah, you just gave away one of your lights to Mercury now. It's retrograding off with one of your energies. You're higher than that. That's the story of Christ standing on top of Mount Zion with the 144,000 singing a new song. Zion is the original word for Zodiac is Zoion. You standing on top of the Zodiac, on top of the planets, with the 144,000, those that have had their full light code restored, light beings, light bodies. And singing a new song means they made a new plane, what we call heaven. You okay, baby? Huh? Hey, come on, let me. You guys, I want to make sure I like go all the way with this teaching. It's only about 20 more minutes, so hold on, let me get some help with my baby. Come here, baby. Come on. Go. Let's go potty. Go potty. Come this way. Huh? We're gonna go to bed. Come on. Come on. Watch the wires right here. Here. Come on, Daddy, love you. You're getting big. Yeah. Ooh, you're getting big. Yeah. Getting big. Yes, you are. Of course, you don't gotta go to school. Where's Miss E? Whew. Man. Sheesh. So had to carry her up 3 flights. Well, 2 flights of steps. Whew. Give me a second. Excuse me. Give me a moment. It's be a good time for me to look through the chat for a second. Okay, let me see. I see. I'm just briefly looking. I see someone talking about like mama bears killing their cubs and stuff. Listen, animals don't have souls, so don't compare animals to us. Animals are going off of us being the whole earth, the heart being out of balance. So therefore, they're out of balance. That's our fault. That ain't the animal's fault. Okay. Like someone said, she might be killing her cubs because she knows the world's so far out of balance, she can't even survive. So instead of making her cubs suffer, she's going to do the ultimate sacrifice that hurts her heart more than anything. Probably got her screaming a bear's cry that has to do that. Because we have the earth so far out of harmony. That's why there is a lot of truth in the Bible. It says the lion shall eat hay. There will be no night. The lion shall eat hay. Why is the lion going to eat hay? Because the lion going to be back in harmony, balance, even, heaven, on earth. People think they going off somewhere. Every dimension is right here, right now. It's a frequency. That's why it says you're going to stand on top of Mount Zion, on top of the Zodiac, on top of Shemaya, her illusion. That's all an illusion. That's why Elon Musk and them is running into it. Oh, time for liftoff. Houston, we're almost there. We're coming through the stratosphere. Yes, this is the furthest we've ever popped. Jet skiing. Light coming through where they're jet skiing at. Don't even know what's going on. Don't got a clue. Shemaya, her illusion. That's why people think, oh, we're in the simulacrum now. Yeah, it ain't nothing changed. Our ancestors called, well, everyone called it something different, but Shemaya means her illusions. That's what heaven was called. So if heaven is hers, and that's from the quote Hebrews, the Yahwist. But I just happened to look at that comment about the bears killing the cubs. That's on us. And really, it's on the men. The men, all the men haven't been standing up doing what's right. Somebody, if there's a real, well, how come the great mother ain't stopping all these babies from getting taken? Oh, she did what she's supposed to do. She made you. She made us. You think when babies and kids are getting taken that there isn't a benevolent soul nearby? Yeah, they're nearby. You think that they didn't feel some kind of intuition and wasn't connected to the right side, the feminine energy that told them something is up? Oh, no, but I got to get home. I got to get to work. I'm running late. One more late, they're going to fire me. I got my electric bill. Meanwhile, 20 children's in the truck right there. You just felt it. What more do you need? An adulterous and wicked generation needs a sign. It's about what you feel that's outside of your five senses in the mind of your heart. So don't try to blame the great mother on it or God. Would stop. Look, I would never tell you what words to use, but I recommend that you not. That word comes from Odin, Godan, Godan. All right. The 6 kings, the Vikings, tribe of Dan, Godan, Odin, Woden Oz, Woden knows all. And matter of fact, Woden sacrificed himself to himself on a tree 3,000 years before the story of Jesus during the age of Pisces, where Zeus was ruling, aka Jupiter. The Jupiter, which I will build my rock on. You're the rock that I'm going to build my church on. You're the rock I'm going to build my circle on. The Jew, Peter. Simon is if the original root word for Simon is Zion. The Zion, the Jew, Peter of Zion. Wednesday, Woden Nas Day. Woden knows all day. It used to be Woden's Day, Godan's Day, God's Day. Right? It's Mercury worship. It's the worship of information, duality. That's right, Brother Rick. The mind of the heart. That is the key. Oh yeah. The Germans in the 30s and 40s. Yep. Well, you see the symbol they use, the swastika. That's just um, a short version of. You've seen the bigger version where it's a bunch of the things, the lines that represents what they tell you is the black sun. They were worshippers of knowledge. Okay, knowledge is knowing the ledge. And in this case, they were trying to surpass the ledge of our realm, which the physicalities of our realm were in a bowl, and there's a ledge that now has ice around it, but it didn't have ice around it. And it's at a 33-degree. It has an opening, looks like this. That's where they get the Star Trek and Space Force, NASA, anything got to do with space got this symbol on it right here. It's 33 degrees because that's the space. That's the two pillars of Hercules that Plato was talking about. Plato. That is, you can leave our crater and go into the solar system, but it's just it's Tiamat. It's the Great Mother. It's more of the third dimension. It's all dimensions. It's just which vibration you're on, but it's just it's an extension of the plane of inertia that it is. And we have more land in here as well, just in our crater, but it's frozen right now. And we only live in a quarter of the crater at a time, and it moves like a clock. Every 6,000. Hold on, I'm not gonna take up too long looking for it. If I can find it real quick, I'll give you the exact numbers. Hold on. All right. So the great year is 25,944 years, the real one. Every 6,486 years, the quarter begins moving. That's what they call global warming, or climate change. What's happening is, and that's what happened, in the eastern steppe region, where my mother's tribe comes from, the Magyar people, or the Magyars, which they call Magi in the Bible, was in the eastern steppe region, which is now called Siberia. And they tell you that it unthawed in the land bridge in Alaska, and that's how the Native Americans got here. No, that's how a portion of people got over here into Alaska and Canada and down into Turtle Island. But that's not. It ain't like the whole place was empty and somebody just started finally getting there. I don't know who's ringing this doorbell. But yeah, it's 6,486 years. The quarter move. It moves in quarters. It's from the sun cycle, and you have a smaller event. Give me 1 second, y'all. Excuse me, 1 moment. I gotta stop that second stuff too. Go up on the third floor and check on Naya and make sure she's all right. She might be asleep. I should be done this in about 20 minutes. Love you. Okay. All right. Let me get out the comments and get back on topic. All right. So, Abram, before he got the spirit, the greatest of spirit, connection, umbilical cord to the great mother, he had to break bread and wine with Melchizedek, which we've already established what that is. It's the dark, the dark matter that sustains you, because milk is lactose, All right. So that's from the bosom of the Great Mother. But it's dark matter, and chi is the flowing life force. The Z is this. Back then, it just was the symbol for unseen. It's like a zigzag. I don't know where it went. Just, I don't know. That's what the ancestors used that symbol as, or something similar to that. Now it means subatomic aum, okay, and then dec means to appear, like decorate, okay. So it was basically he broke bread and wine with the dark, the dark matter that sustains all. The Great Mother, the womb. He got connected to the Great Mother. Okay, so he broke bread and wine. Remember, bread represents truth, wine represents spirit, the right hemisphere, the feminine spirit, because spirit was always considered feminine back then. So guess where this comes from? It comes from Osiris. That's why the pictures of Osiris, when he gets planted, you see the grain growing up from Osiris being reborn. The grain back then, it was beer. It was bread and beer. They made bread from the grain of Osiris's body. That's why he was green. The green man, the green knight. Okay. It's the green man being born again. And the grain comes up. They make bread from the virgin. All right. During the September. September is the seven spirits. Right. The seven, Sep. And amber is the light, reflection. Amber is it basically has to do with the moon. It's the reflection of yourself. So virgin, the purity, and the grain grows from Osiris's buried body. They make bread, and beer was beer back then. And this goes back to the Sumerian tablets before Osiris. Well, actually, Osiris, that story, they brought that from Atlantis. So this is all part of the hijacking. They use this to make their religion. Okay, there's truth in it, but they play on the harp. David playing the harp. They play on the harp strings of your heart. It's really they're playing on your heart. Harp. Heart modifies the weather. Your heart modifies the ether. Aether. The weather is the aether. Okay? Your heart modifies the aether as harp modifies the weather. You see? So they took this story. Melchizedek is just Osiris. They took that from Osiris, but it was not wine, bread and wine. It was bread and beer. Same in the Sumerian tablets. And then when the Greeks took it from the Egyptians, they turned it to Dionysus, which they tell you is the god of wine and this and that. But really, it was the same story as Christ. Dionysus, resurrected and all that. It all comes from Osiris. Okay? Listen. You're an eternal soul. What makes you think you have to be resurrected? That implies that somebody or something killed you, murdered you. That's impossible. There's nothing that implies that there's something out here greater than the origin of eternal soul, life, light, and rest. And these religions they have don't even make sense. Once you really have the eye to see, they don't even make sense. They got to string together so much bullcrap, but then they tell you come as a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. They tell you, where's the kingdom of heaven? Within. So how is a child gonna understand? Oh, you were born into sin. You're a dirtbag, basically. You're a piece of crap that deserves to go to hell forever, but God sent his son here, and the only way, because the devil was such a good chess player, beat God at his own game. The only way was to send his only begotten son, you're not God's son. You're a nobody. You're like a piece of crap. You're basically like a monkey. There's only one son he really cares about, and it's the only child. And then they got the Holy Spirit too. It's kind of like they play cards together, and you're just like a junkie that they took in off the street and they murdered. The only thing that he could come up with was to murder his son. If you can't see that that was made up by a group of some dumb behind men that sat around and some beware of those that wear long white robes in the market. I mean, pater, the members of the Sanhedrin. I mean, it's all in their language. Langu age means the art of war. Gu is the god of war. Okay. So, like, it's all in their Babylonian language. When we're in harmony, we ain't got to speak. We can talk to each other without even speaking it through this chakra right here, through this church. We can speak to each other through energy, light. That's why there's no lies. When you get not even higher, it's not even higher. Everyone says higher. It's not about higher. It's about balance. When you get balanced, then you become united. Everything's even. If something's off balance, if a table's off balance, the food and stuff not going to be united. It's going to be separated. It's going to fall. Some of it's going to slide off. Some going to fall on this lap. Some going to go over there. But when the table is set or Eve in, everything is balanced. Eve, the mother of all living. Heaven, Eve, even. H, spirit, the spirit of even. The spirit of balance. The spirit of ma'at. The feather in the scale of the heart, earth. Okay. So back to the mother real quick. Mother is also an anagram for the Om Thor. Mother, if you know, it's just an anagram. They like doing that, and this is not people reaching and just making up stuff. Same with Hebrew. Hebrew was the Greeks. They actually made it from her web, because they call the Hebrew word for heaven is Shemaya. So Hebrew is the anagram for her web. Everything was her. That's why they pushed out Ashtaroth. That was actually El's counterpart, and El predated Yahweh. They just transitioned into Yah or Jehovah and all. The two-faced, the Janus, the Janus, January. All right. The two faces that make you weary. Let me see. And then what I was telling you about with even El. So El, we know is Saturn, right? The original word El means she light. It literally means she light. E-L-L-E. El. She light. Her light. That's what the original word El meant. They changed it to Saturn. Eleanor actually means high, height, ascended. Eleanor. In French and Greek. Cyrus in Persian and Greek means sun lord. That was the beginning of the hijacking the son's name into a man. And Lord in Greek is Kyrios or Kyrios, curious. Basically, Lord means curious. It's trying to be like something. It's trying to be like the source. So it's curious. That's why I call them the watchers. They watch because they're curious. Kyrios. That's what Lord meant in Greek. Lord, Kyrios. Curious. I'm trying to be quick and just get through the rest of this because I got people calling me. I don't know what's going on upstairs with my baby. So, you know, they tell you the last words, like I hit on earlier. Christ said, Emmanuel said, Eli, or it says Eloi, but it's Eli. Eloi, Eloi, which is really means high, height, ascended. It actually means my origin. So they tell you it means Father, Father, why have thou forsaken me? Really, this is what he said in Aramaic. He said, Eli or Eloi means height or high or ascended, my origin. So when he said Eloi, Eloi, he said, I'm going up to my origin. Then it says Lima, Lambano Shabachthani. Lima means something taken. Lambano means to take. Shabak means to praise, and Thani means one who follows. So he was saying, I'm going back to the origin and I'm going to praise it, and y'all going to follow. That he didn't say, Father, Abba, why have thou forsaken me? He said, I'm going on up. And I'm going back to my origin. I'm going to the real height, and then and y'all come. I'm going to the real origin, and y'all gonna follow me. And I'm gonna praise the origin the whole way, and y'all coming after me. That's what it really said in Aramaic. Basically ascending to the height of my origin, meaning the highest. Basically, what he was saying was, I'm going to the highest version of myself. I'm returning to the highest version of myself, is what it really meant. Let me see. So same way the mother is anagram for the Om Thor. Thor meaning just electric. Father is Pha Thor. Phi actually comes from the Phi. So the word father originated from Phi. Phi Thor. The Phi Fa Fo Fum. I smell the blood of an angelish man. I'll touch on that at a later date. Got some more stuff I can add, but it's not crucial. But basically, I probably have one more teaching that'll close this series out after this. But just something we were talking about bears earlier. Just like with animals, the one thing, even though they're spirit and not soul, the one thing we do have in common is the protection, leadership, maintenance of the kin or the group is always the task of the feminine animal. Always. And when it comes to people and animals, they are trained through nature naturally and discipline, and it's just in them to protect the young. All right. And in our story, in our what they call his story, and now, anytime a group depended upon an arbitrary means random. Just so anytime a group depended upon a random choice of a despotic male, which means just tyrannical male leader, or several males, like a brotherhood in contention for power, society either never developed or they remained idle or stuck. Every single time there's been a patriarchy here, society can't get any higher than a certain point. But when we had the matriarch here, that we still have native cultures that have passed this down. My tribe has passed it down directly over 12,000 years. But we've been in contact with other tribes that have 60,000 years. And there's artifacts that are 60,000 years old that have the symbol of the Great Mother. It's people think it's the moon. It's the crescent. This one right here, you can't really see it, but it's my beard's in the way. It's that symbol right there. They turn it into horns to make it to demonize it, and this also has the tree of life on it. But they would make 60,000 years ago. They make it out of woolly mammoth tusk, and everyone would carry it as veneration of the Great Mother. And then they started, once the woolly mammoth, because they go through cycles, then they start making out of water buffalo in the Eastern Hemisphere and bison in the Western Hemisphere. So if you see that symbol, it's the Great Mother. It has nothing to do with witchcraft or nothing they've told you. And then they even got it sideways on the Islam thing because they're giving it to you sideways. They talking like a jive turkey out the side of the mouth. My elders told me never trust nobody talk out the side of the mouth. They're a jive turkey. Okay? You're supposed to speak straightforward unless someone has some kind of defect or something like that. But guys, I think I'm going to leave part 3 off with that. Let me see. So I'll leave with this. Our ancestors knew that the child in the first year of life is still an external embryo. For the first year that it is outside the womb, is still an external embryo. Feminine group behavior, the grouping of mothers and young, is built upon the fact of the extreme or prolonged dependence of the human child on its mother for protection and training. Why do you think they cut the umbilical cord instantly? And then they take the baby, they give the baby to the mother for a second, then they take, oh, we're going to go get her cleaned up for you, okay? Then they smack all this medicine in her eyes and in her face and shots and this and that and all kind of crazy mess. And you just sitting there stuck, can't even respond. And they're just doing all this and that. And you just like, what is going on? I didn't even say you could do that. Oh, come on, Dad, cut the umbilical cord. They got the masculine. There's that masculine energy being destructive, not even knowing it, ignorantly. Chop. But you did it free will because you didn't do your due diligence and say, well, what is this? What am I doing? Oh, it's traditions of man. Just like all these religions, idolatrous religions. You eat that book, it tastes like honey in your mouth. But when it go down to that solar plexus, it's time to get edified. It's bitter. So basically, the matriarchal society is built upon the fact of extreme prolonged dependence of the human child or any child on its mother for protection and training. So ask yourself, what is the situation today? We are almost 100% disconnected from the Great Mother on a macro or cosmic scale. See, we talking, when we talk about babies and mothers, like down here, that's micro. On a macro scale, as a whole, we are almost completely disconnected from the Great Mother on a macro cosmic scale. So what comes after you totally turn your back on the origin of your soul, the one that carried you in her? One, She carried you in her. It was y'all was one, yet two, because you were you. She made you, but you were still in her. The two that were one. She carried you in her. One yet two, two yet one, and 99% of those around us have cut their umbilical cord, connection, reliance on the Great Mother. Guess what that's called? Blasphemy of the greatest of spirit. The Bible calls it blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Emmanuel said, you can blaspheme the Father, the masculine energy, you'll be forgiven. You can blaspheme the Son, the mixture of masculine and feminine energy, the mixture, basically talking about the offspring. But if you blaspheme the origin of your soul, if you smack your mom in the face, you punch your mom in the face, you're not going to be forgiven. You're not going to be. If you beat your mom down and you turn your back on her like that, you're not going to be forgiven. That's what Emmanuel said. That's what 99% of this world has done. It says Satan will deceive the whole world. How has it happened? Through Ra Legion, the angels of light. The truth is in the darkness. The truth is hidden in the darkness. And that's what they've done. They have demonized the whole truth. They've demonized it. You've never heard of the Great Mother, so powerful, you've never even heard of it. You've never even heard. There ain't even no Ra Legion about the Great Mother. Why is that? Why? Think about that. How is there all these different Ra Legion, but they're all he. Yeah, they laughing. He, ha, ha. They're laughing, all right. They'll argue about who's who, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yeshua, Yahweh, Yahweh, this one, that one. Oh, no, his name was this. His name was that. His name was this. No, we're the chosen people. No, we're his chosen people. No, we're his chosen people. No, this, that, the other, But not once do they talk about the Great Mother, the origin of eternal soul, life, light, and rest. Now it's time for I to rest. I love you all. I will do one more. It's gonna be one more. It'll be a part 4 that I'm gonna go through your comments. It'll probably be more like an answering, like filling the gaps type teaching. I'm just gonna freestyle it. It'll be more like a Q&A. I'll go through these comments. I'll try to see where you guys are at with it and try to follow up with it. That'll be part 4. It'll just be closing up. But this was more about showing you that the version of the Bible that you've been given, they're talking about it's a story that's been passed through the ages. Melchizedek was Osiris. Okay. The grain, if it was bread and beer that is in September, when the Virgo, when the sun is in Virgo, the Virgin. Okay, Isis was the Virgin, then it became Mary. Mary is just the water, just like Osset also is connected to water. Isis' real name. So it's just reciprocal. It goes round and round. It's not prophecy, it's a cycle. But you are not meant to stay here. This is where you come to experience, and it's the tour of the purge. It's your soul's tour of the purge, purgatory, to purge your Taurus, to purge the tree of life. That way you'll bear good fruit. All right? Because you don't automatically just leave here and then all of a sudden you just some perfect being. You're still you, beloved. It's now. Now you go with you everywhere you go, including eternity. It's still you. And it's still now. I love you guys. Great spirit willing. I'll see you and talk to you soon. Mësët. Anyone about questions about helping out, donating, everything? I'll put the information in the description or at the top of the comment section of the ways you can donate. Okay. Love you guys. It's been an honor and a pleasure.